Look familiar?
All right, so I'm looking at the size of it. I needed to buy a bra for the housekeeper, and it seemed like you two were the same size, so I needed to find out what your size was.
What's all this mincing around? What is this?
No, I was trying to imagine what it would be like to be the housekeeper and have those breasts, working and doing dishes and vacuuming.
How did that feel? Did it feel good?
Yeah, this is how your housekeeper washes dishes like this?
Okay, so we're here, Jeff. You and me,
Yes.
baby. I am Susie Essman.
Yes, I've got Jackie Robinson and Robert Mitchum behind me. They support me.
You know who I have behind me? Look.
By the way, I got to give you credit. I'm Jeff Garlin, by the way, everybody. You always do like the season poster behind you. How did you get all those?
I don't know which season it. I only have 3 season posters.
Okay, I don't know.
So
if that,
I just
by the way,
switch them around.
Yeah, I know, yes. This might be one of my favorites, this cover behind you.
Yeah,
with
that's
him
a
in the
great
chair
one.
and the guy,
with the shrink.
And the shrink hung himself. Or it could be a woman with very masculine legs.
Is it me?
Yeah.
So we are now on season 5, episode 3, The Christ Nail. And what I don't know if this is one of my favorite episodes or if I just enjoy. I remember shooting these scenes and enjoying doing them so much. So I don't know which one it is.
Don't have, there's a couple things in there there's one where you kick Larry out with anyhow, we'll get to it. But that scene I love, the hallway scene with the 3 of us.
Terrific.
Great scene. And by the way, as we mentioned, I think one of the scenes we had the most fun and is one of the funniest scenes we've ever done is coming up in a later episode.
Yeah, I think it's in 2 weeks, I think.
Okay.
2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, but the point is that's fun to look forward to. And we'll tell you when we get to it, but it's easily, for me, it could be number 1, but top 3 for sure.
But and I don't know, one of my favorite scenes that I ever did was actually in this episode because we'll get to it.
The hallway?
No, when Cheryl and I are in.
Okay,
yeah.
yes, okay.
So here we are, The Christ Nail.
This is season 5, episode 3?
Correct.
Okay.
And we start with Larry at the podiatrist, and he's got these new orthotics in, and they're very loud. They squeaking.
Okay.
They squeak.
So one of the ways to fix that is to put baby powder on I wear orthotics, on the top and the bottom. Only helps you for about an hour. Then it goes right back. But the noise we used is clearly post, and I don't know if it's a post house that has that recorded or someone did it and they recorded it, which I'm thinking of Modern Romance with Albert Brooks anyhow, point being is that was so accurate.
Oh, it is accurate. I never had them.
No, there is no exaggeration, and it is loud. I don't know if it's loud enough to wake people up, but it's loud. It's annoying. If you're with somebody, they will say, "Would you please fix that?"
But the podiatrist says it just takes a while to break in. Is that true? Do they break in? They never break in.
No, yes, certainly they're more comfortable and they break in. But I have some for dress shoes and regular shoes. But I got to tell you, it depends on the shoe. It really does. Certain shoes squeak, other ones don't.
Because Jimmy, my husband has them, and I never noticed a squeaking.
Well, Jimmy walks
delicately.
By the way, no, he floats. Did you ever notice that your husband floats?
Yes.
It's one of the things I love best about him. He's a floater.
He's a floater.
Yeah, okay, keep going.
So Larry, it says they feel great. He loves the orthotics. And then he goes home, and his handyman, Jesus, is there fixing something. And Jesus is what we call in Yiddish a verbissene. He's a very down guy.
And by the way, he was on, played a tough guy on Better Call Saul. By the way, nicest
his
guy.
His name is Lobo Sebastian, I think, or something like that.
Anyhow, point being is, as tough as he looked, that guy was a sweet, gentle guy. You know, I mean, he walks down the street, you're going to go, fuck me. And then you have a conversation where you go, you are just the best guy. It was one of those things.
Was he also in Breaking Bad?
I don't remember him Breaking Bad. I remember him Better Call Saul.
Well,
whenever I see him, and I saw him in another movie that I think the scene took place on some dirt road. But anyhow, point being is whenever I see him working, whenever anyone who does Curb, that's a character actor, and I see them in something else, I get crazy happy.
Yeah,
you know.
of course.
So whenever I see him, I'm like, look at you. You know.
Of course. And Lobo, who plays Jesus, he seems.
By the way, for the rest of the episode, would you refer to me as Lobo?
Lobo, yes.
Lobo the second.
Lobo Jr. He seems a little down, and Larry asks him a small favor.
See this thing? It's a Mezuzah. Got that? And I need you to put it over the door here. This is like a Jewish thing. You know, we put it over the door so every anti-Semite in the neighborhood will know that we live here in case they want to burn down the house.
And he wants him to put a mezuzah up on the door, or as my husband would say, a Muzuzah up on the door, because his father's coming. Nat, his father, is coming, and he'll get upset if he doesn't see the mezuzah there.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have a mezuzah up at your house?
No.
I don't either. And I've had Jewish friends who they're not Orthodox. They're more conservative than Reform. They're conservative Jews, and they get really upset with me. Why isn't it up? Why? And by the way, the things Larry says about the mezuzah is what's in the back of my head, especially this day and time, when he talks about so any anti-Semite can know that.
Yeah. Well, there was you're not supposed to take a mezuzah off once it's on. And one of my apartments, not the one I have right now, had a mezuzah. It was like this big. I swear it was like, Jews live here, Jews live here, Jews live here. It was so big and offensive because it was so big.
Did you have Fiddler on the Roof on a loop with the speaker?
I took it off. I replaced it with a smaller one so I wouldn't get in trouble.
Well, a big one. I've seen the big ones, but you got to have a really big house with big doors. You have to have, those are mansion mezuzahs.
No, this one actually, this apartment, was my old apartment, had a mezuzah not only on the outside door, not the outside door, but in the building, the apartment door, but on every door within the apartment.
Are they Orthodox?
I don't know what they were. I took them down. I couldn't have them on every door.
Oh, when you moved in?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to be reminded
not
you're
at
Jewish.
Every door.
I'm kidding. But that
I don't need to be reminded.
Hold on. My gut feeling is Orthodox. I can't see anyone doing that unless they're a super Jew.
I don't know. I took the outside one down and I put a different one up that my friend Larry Ambrose had given me as a housewarming
Larry
gift.
Ambrose, funny. Okay, quick question.
What?
Do you have what he says about the anti-Semites? Did you write that down?
I might. I don't remember.
Because it's so funny to let all the antis. The way he did it is just hilarious.
I don't know that I have that.
Every person who doesn't have a mezuzah up might just not be into it or whatever, but a lot of Jews don't put it up for exactly what Larry says. It announces, when they come hunting for us, it announces this. And by the way, the death of your children, it's like every Jewish thing,
Well,
by the way, I'm a proud Jew.
I don't have one up, Jeff. Not that for that reason, I don't have one up because it just would never occur to me and I'm not religious. However, any apartment.
Hold on. I have three in the house.
Any apartment that I've moved into that has one up, I leave it there.
Yeah, well, that's weird to take it down.
Yeah,
and by the way, I would have done
the one that was that big I took
down,
but I replaced it.
I said that I'm a Jew culturally, and I know Jews hate hearing that. What I mean is I believe in my God. I love everything about being Jewish. Going to temple, what turned me off? Too much standing and sitting. Too much. I like a good sit and maybe an occasional stand.
Well, it's a good thing you're not Catholic.
And by the way, they said,
because then
Catholic,
you have to kneel.
Kneel. Oh, my God. And by the way, I dig the kneeling. I think that's cool to be, because if you think there's something more important than you, that's beautiful, whatever it is. My God might be your God could be the mezuzahs that were hanging in the apartment on every door, and you made a shrine. I'm just saying, everyone's God is their God to me. Hi, everybody. We're Existential, and I'm Jeff Garlin. Okay.
Larry tells Jesus that when his father comes, he has to talk loud because he's hard of hearing. And then Jesus says, what's wrong? And Jesus tells him that his feet hurt. And Larry tells him about the orthotics and gives him his extra pair of orthotics, which was very kind of him.
No, it's not kind because orthotics are built to individuals'
They
feet.
have to be fit.
Okay, you can go to the drugstore and get orthotics.
Like a Dr. Scholl's thing.
No, even beyond that. They'll sell you, companies make orthotics, which, by the way, helpful. But you got to have it was a sweet, it didn't bother me, but it's not true.
Okay.
That you can just hand
But it
somebody.
works for the episode.
All right, but okay.
So then Maria, who is the housekeeper, and she's either Jesus's wife or girlfriend, we don't know, she comes in and says, tell Jesus to try them on. Jesus gives in, and he puts on the orthotics. And next we see Cheryl is there with her parents, and Larry squeaks in. The squeaking is constant, and they're all like, what is that? And he's like, I got to break him in. And Paul is on the couch, Paul Dooley, who plays Cheryl's father, and he's snacking on some chips. And Larry asks Paul, why do you do the whole cross thing before a meal and not snacks? I think it's a good question.
No, not a good question, a funny question.
Yeah.
That's the fact his brain thought of that,
It's great.
By the way, those things will pop to me, but I ain't no comedic genius. I have moments of comedic genius. Larry, you know the difference between Larry and I in terms of comedy? Because our sense of humor is almost identical. Like when I say silly stuff, he's the one who laughs hardest, you stare. But anyhow, I forgot what I was saying. Keep going.
About the crossing with snacks.
Oh, a crossing with snacks. So Larry, when I watch these episodes, and we've done, 121 of them or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Where I just go, how did he do this? It's
I feel like that when I read the outlines.
Okay,
I read
but it's
in the
almost-
beginning.
No, I do too. But he's almost like a comedic magician. But the difference between us is that Larry didn't really discover his humor until his late 20s. He's like, I can do, because early on, he was never the class clown, never anything.
Well, he says that he didn't know that he was funny as a kid at all.
Right.
It never occurred to him.
It occurred to me, and you're going to think I'm crazy saying this, but a violinist a little kid who has 7 years old, I was the funniest kid in school.
What do they do, Jeff?
Whatever. I'm not a good violin impression. But the point is, I actually believe. Now, it didn't lead to me being, Richard Pryor. But the point is, I believe that I'm a comedic prodigy. And most prodigies burn out. So I think I'm lucky that I actually had a career. Because when you get to it, my skill level of knowing I'm funny was there when I was a baby. I'd make my parents laugh when I took a bath, and then I repeat it, and they keep laughing. So it's like, yeah, and it just occurred to me, what's a prodigy?
Do you think they did you a favor when they kept laughing?
Oh, most definitely. Look at the life I lead. I got a Robert Mitchum. Yul Brynner, by the way, took that photo. It's from the Yul Brynner collection. I'm not even kidding you. That was on the set of a movie they did, and it's rocking. But wait, I had one more thing to say. No, but myself, even though the only thing that's kept me going is I haven't lost being funny, because a lot of times what you're great at as a child, you either don't like, you lose out, like, let's say you play golf your whole childhood and you practice. Like usually these prodigies, even violin, I know a woman, a Russian violin player, burnt out by the time she was 20.
Do you know what Freud says?
What?
Freud said that the only truly happy people as adults are the people who have lived out their childhood fantasies. Now, unfortunately, most little boys, have a fantasy of being a baseball player or whatever, and it's not going to happen.
An astronaut. It used to be, because we were in such a space era, astronaut was really popular.
But if you're
fireman.
My fantasy, the only fantasy I had as a child was to be an actress. So I have lived out my childhood fantasy.
Okay. I didn't know being funny was a job until I went to see Jimmy Durante with my parents. And I was in awe of the whole thing. On the way home, I asked my parents, is that a job? I'm 8. Is that a job? Is that a job? And my parents go, yeah, that's a job. I go, well, that's the job that I want. And they chuckled, right? But I live my dream. I'm so damn lucky, blessed, whatever you were,
we
grateful.
all are.
No, but it's like, I'm happy with my success, but my success as a comedian and the dreams I had of a child. But by the way, I didn't reach my goals. My goal was to be like John Belushi with better health.
Yeah, I was just going to say that would not be a goal.
I'm just saying he just inspired me deeply. Other people did too, Anyhow, let's move on because this shouldn't be all about me.
Okay.
But we need to learn. What's Jeff about? What does he care about?
You want to know who I wanted to be like when I was a kid?
All right, hold on. I think that you wanted to be like, what's the woman who played the mother on the Brady Bunch?
Florence Henderson?
No, Florence Henderson. You wanted to be Florence. And you reminded me as a kid when I met you. We met each other when we were 8. And I said, you're a young Florence Henderson.
No, I wanted to be Carol Burnett.
Oh, okay. What if I told you could have done that? You still could, but unfortunately, because I wanted to be Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
I say John Belushi.
But when I say I wanted to be, I don't mean I wanted to be her. I meant that I saw what she was doing and I thought, I want to do that.
Yes.
And I kind of did.
Okay. Yes. But we both would have loved, just like Gleason and Carol Burnett, a variety show with singers we liked, guest stars, and different characters. No. But do you know what killed it? Killed the variety show. And that was my dream. No. Nah. Cable TV.
Oh,
and especially because you can create your own variety show by changing the channels.
Right.
Oh, I want to see this. I want to see that. So no one cared anymore. All right. Hi, Carol Burnett. Keep going.
Hi. So they go through the whole thing about, Larry says, if you'd be crossing all day long, if you had to cross before every snack. And then Maria comes in and walks by and we see Cheryl and Cheryl's mother kind of give her a dirty look. And we're not really sure why.
Not kind of. It's a fucking dirty look.
Yeah, they give her a dirty look.
She doesn't notice.
And we're not really clear on why they're giving her a dirty look at that point. And then Larry asks Paul what's around his neck. And he has a rawhide thing with a nail. And he tells him it's a nail from the Passion of Christ. And he got it on the internet. And he says to him, have you seen it? And Larry says to him, you're nuts about this Jesus guy, aren't you?
He also did a Passion of the Christ. He did like the hesitation that it wouldn't work. And he kind of gave him a good for you. And not me, you.
And Paul tells him,
well, I have a personal relationship with Christ.
Really?
And
See, I can see worshiping Jesus if you were a girl. Like if God had a daughter, Jane, I'll worship a Jane.
No.
But, to worship a guy, like a little it's a little gay, isn't it?
Okay.
The Son of God. What's the matter with you?
No, I'm just saying, a girl, I would worship Jane. If he had a daughter, Jane, I could have a relationship with a Jane.
He didn't have a daughter.
It's a shame it wasn't a girl. That's all I have to say. Good-looking woman, Zoftic, good sense of humor.
No.
That's fine.
If he had a daughter, everybody would worship Jane. That's all I'm saying.
And Larry goes into a whole thing about if it was Jane, he would, if
Is that the name he used?
if Jesus had a sister, and it was Jane, he would worship a Jane. But to worship a guy, it's a little gay, he says.
Yes.
And then Cheryl does her, okay. It's like, that should be a drinking game. How many times Cheryl says, okay.
But what's fascinating, not that gay's a bad word specifically, but the things that Larry or I say that are inappropriate, there's generally somebody there to say something. And by the way, I added a scene later on when we played softball in New York with the Rosie O'Donnell season. And
season 8, that was season 8.
And Robert Smigel was the coach. He was the car guy that gave you an orgasm. He's the coach. And he goes, let's beat them, ba-ba-da-ba. And then he says, let's kick them in the cunts.
No, let's fuck them in the cunts, I think he says.
Kick.
Whatever. All right, whatever. But he uses the C
we'll
word.
Get to it. No, but anyhow, point being is, we were going to, Larry and I walk away, and I go, Larry, we got to, that's what I call him. We have to, when we walk away, I have to say to you, kick them in the cunts? Well, who says that? And he goes, I know. Because without that, it's just...
Well, that's
an elephant in the room comment.
Right. But it was quite funny when he said it.
I know, but it was also, people without a sense of humor would be really, they probably were. Then again, people who don't have a sense of humor don't watch
We
Curb.
don't want them. We don't want them watching the show if they don't have a sense of humor.
don't. I know. I've met people, male and female, who just can't watch it. Makes them uncomfortable. But they also, to me, if you don't watch Curb and it doesn't make you incredibly happy and make you laugh, please, don't watch. But they're not.
Don't.
They,
No. We have a very loyal following.
No, for sure. Thank you, any of you, for listening.
And Larry says, I mean, if he had a daughter and she was kind of Zoftic and her name was Jane, at that run, I absolutely love.
Well, by the way, every run. There's a lot of good runs in this episode.
There is. And then it's nighttime and Larry is going into his bathroom and he sees Cheryl's brassiere hanging on the bathroom hook and he goes to look at the size. And he's disappointed. He has a disappointed look on his face. So Cheryl asks what he's doing.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
What? Nothing. Your bra was about to fall off, and I was putting it back on.
All right. And I felt like you were looking at my size.
Oh, I didn't deliberately set out to look at the size, but I had the bra in my hand, and it's kind of like, if you have a driver's license, you check out the date of birth. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Just checked it out.
Oh, what'd you think?
Yeah.
And she's like, were you looking at my size? He's caught. And, he looks disappointed. And then Cheryl tells him.
No. He said it had fallen down. He was putting it back on the bar.
Up. Yes, but she knows he's lying. She could tell.
Yeah.
And Cheryl tells him that they're going to have to let Maria go because she's walking around without a bra and that it's unseemly. And, Larry says, well, why don't you tell her to get a bra? And Cheryl's like, oh, I'm not going to tell her to get a bra. And Larry says, I'm going to tell her because she makes the best chicken salad. I just cannot lose this woman. She makes the best chicken salad.
Chicken salad. By the way, hold on.
This is another example, Jeff, of
I was going to say the same
something
thing.
That Cheryl Hines would never in a million years be behaving that way.
But the character Cheryl would, for sure.
I don't know. I thought this was a little stretched on this one.
But also, it's like no one watching would go, I bet you the chicken salad has something to do with the story. It's just, I like her chicken salad, and you have no idea what the callback is that you
By the way,
of course.
When I was watching this, I didn't even remember that.
No, I didn't remember it either, and I'm in the scene.
Yeah.
I did not remember it at all.
Well, this was a long time ago.
Yes.
So then Larry is in the kitchen with Maria and we hear the squeaking and she thought it was Jesus because now Jesus has the same orthotics and is also squeaking. And they talk about, Larry says he could be quite a downer and Larry brings up the brassiere.
We couldn't help but notice that you don't wear a bra.
Oh, no. Don't like them. Not for me.
Not for you.
No.
Because, I got my father-in-law here. Mm-hmm. They're kind of distracting.
Distracted?
Yeah, there's a lot of flopping going on.
No, they don't flop.
There's flopping.
Don't like the support things. They're uncomfortable. I haven't worn one in 15 years.
They've made some great technological advances in bras in 15 years.
Larry says, you kind of need to wear it. They're distracting. They're flopping around. And she's like, there's no flopping. There's no flopping going on. And she finds it uncomfortable. And Larry tells her they've made a lot of advances. They're inviting and cozy and comforting, he tells her. Now, what's interesting is, you know this, but I don't know that all our listeners know this. Larry, before he started doing comedy, was a bra salesman.
Oh, I didn't. I knew he was a limo driver. That has never come up in our conversation.
So he says now they're in the Pima Cotton, Puma Cotton, Pima Cotton.
Yeah.
And he offers to buy her a bra. And next we are at our house and Larry is squeaking in. And Jeff, you can't find the can opener. And you tell Larry, you think our housekeeper is stealing, but you're not completely sure. You think so.
But by the way, again, a seed. Because it's not anything but a seed, which leads to your favorite scene in the show.
And then Larry, one of my favorites, And Larry tells you that he has to buy his housekeeper a bra, but he doesn't know her size. And so I come in with Sammy's tooth. that just fell out. And I start talking about, the tooth fairy's coming. I'm coming to get money from you for the tooth fairy. And Larry's like, she's like 11 years old. And he's shocked that she still believes in the tooth fairy. And I tell him it's none of his business. He doesn't know anything about children.
By the way, awesome. You're awesome in this
yes,
scene.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And then we catch him staring at my breasts.
And you say, what are you looking at?
Yeah, what are you looking at? And I'm holding the tooth. I remember it's because I was holding the tooth right here.
But by the way, did you choose to do that or did they tell you to do that?
I was directed to hold the tooth there.
Yeah,
by the camera. Yeah, for camera purposes.
Yeah. Well, isn't that funny? But anyhow, you're the tooth there. So he could have easily said, you're your tooth. We might have done a take and he liked the other one. All right.
That's right. And then I leave and Larry tells you he thinks that I'm the same size as Maria. And Jeff says, he asks you what size, and you say, you don't know, but you could find out. And then you say to him, do you know what size Cheryl is? And he says, I just found out, and frankly, I'm a little disappointed. And you start, B cup, C cup, 32.
I go all over the place,
And then you say to him, you don't tell me Cheryl's size, I'm not going to tell you Susie's, because you two are so mature in your relationship.
And by the way, he ended up not telling me. Which
That's
might
right.
have been, which by the way, except the disappointed line, is actually a noble gesture for that character to say, no, I can't do it. But what's next, Susie?
That's a very funny scene. Then you're watching basketball and Larry starts, I could be general manager. I just need the opportunity, bullshit.
I don't remember if it made the episodes, any of the episodes, but he did something. He told me, and this is he and I alone. We're talking in between.
You mean not on
Not on camera, off camera. And he says to me, I was a really good basketball player. I could have made it to the pros. And he's being totally sincere. I could have been a small guard. I could do this. And I go, because I know how to I make him elaborate. And I go, well, did you practice? What did you play on? And he says, no, I used to practice dribbling in the house. And then he would do his mom, Larry, stop with the dribbling. Don't dribble, Larry. And when he does his mom, that's
hilarious.
One of my favorites. I lose it.
Know.
But stop your dribbling. Beautiful. All right.
So then he goes to the bathroom and he's squeaking along and he goes by our laundry room and he sees my bra sitting out in the laundry room. So he grabs the bra and he looks at the size and then he chooses to kind of put it on and feel what it feels like to have the bra on.
You think that's a joke in itself, which it is, which is kind of, but the callback to that and the question you ask him is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Later on.
It. Yeah, I know, but still.
But it's that scene in the laundry room is hilarious.
Yes.
And then he comes out of the bathroom and he's squeaking down the hall just as I'm putting the money underneath Sammy's pillow for the tooth fairy.
Right.
And his squeaking wakes Sammy up.
What are you doing? What are you doing with that money?
Well, I was checking to make sure the tooth fairy left it.
You're lying.
Sammy
You're a
knows.
liar.
Please,
You're the
no.
tooth fairy. There is no tooth fairy.
Honey, there is a tooth fairy.
You're lying. It's you.
Kill him. I'm gonna kill him.
And Sammy starts screaming.
But by the way, I didn't like that because I felt that she just leapt up and hit you hard. And if you're sleeping and it really bugs me. And I know that I had to have told the director, the other, actually I'm the other producer, Larry Charles, but no one listened to me that she should wake up. Look, I know there's a pacing thing. Wake up a little groggy. Go, what's going on? She woke up in the most fake way.
Screaming. Yeah,
and
you know
started
what? It
screaming
didn't
at you.
bother me.
No, but those things bother the fuck out of me. All right.
And she starts accusing me of lying and like, you're the tooth fairy. And then I go out and I confront Larry in the hall. You woke her up. And he's like, well, it had to happen eventually. And it's a blessing in disguise. And I'm
Hold on. I just thought of something that we never did on the show. And this scene would have been perfect for it. If she talked to you like you talked to everybody else, that would have been really funny. if she mimicked to her best ability, mimicked you.
Which, by the way,
get the
she
fuck
did.
out. No, hold on. Get the fuck out of my room. Get the fuck out.
She was little then.
No, she was like 12, 13. She could have. But the point is, that was a missed opportunity that none of us thought of. But I'm sitting here going,
But Jeff, if you recall, in a later it was Palestinian Chicken. Later on in season 8, she did channel her mother, but it was
very
with
much
Larry.
so.
But it was
by
with
the
Larry.
way, it was awesome. But she was, but we could have established that.
You're right. A missed opportunity. Anyway, so Larry and I get into it, and you come in and whatever, and we kick him out of the house, and he goes,
No. You kick him out of the house, and I stand like a cuckold husband, which I am in the show, with my arm. But I'm cheating on you all the time. All right, so, but yeah, I'm handcuffed. But the build of that is beautiful in that scene. The kick-out scene, you start at a level, what did you do? Why? And then you're the only person who can go in hot and then blow it all up. But get the fuck out of my house. It's
my
a level
favorite
of
thing.
Yeah, but you go in hot. Well, look, you enter a scene cynical about what we're doing, or you're furious. No. Cynical to start up, because your yelling is a build, even though it's like, when is she going to do it? Like the scene we filmed this past season, the stairs. Starts out pleasant, and then when's the explosion? So, but a lot of times your character comes in happy for the most inane reasons. The tooth, a caftan. You know what I mean? It's like you're so damn happy.
I come in, Sammy's tooth.
Yeah, but you do that about other things. And then the joy is, of course, ruined by Larry. But those are the two ways you hit. And then when you come in hot, you're not even thinking she can go hotter, and you fucking explode. And by the way, never not funny.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Funny. Next, he's squeaking up the stairs again. The squeaking is just continual. He wakes Cheryl's parents up. He wakes everybody up.
But I have a curious thing.
That they were sleeping in separate bedrooms?
Separate rooms. I'm like, we never talked about that on the show. I don't know whose choice that was, but they could have easily come out together. Because, all right, I'm watching, I'm sure there's people listening now who are hardcore Curb, and they had to have noticed it because it's fucking weird. Just saying. Because we never even had them fight on the show ever.
No, but a lot of older couples sleep in separate bedrooms. One snores, one they have trouble sleeping.
My partner, Sari, lives in a separate house from me, about a 10-minute drive. And even if we were married, we would do that. Forget separate bedrooms, separate houses. My dream is I'd love to marry her and buy the house next door to me, and she lives there and I live here. It also would up the romance. Oh, who's knocking?
Who's that knocking at my door?
My door. No, but I understand separate bedrooms. It's just that each of you, it's not a privacy thing. But it's
sleep. It's a sleep thing.
I know. It's a roll. He rolls around. He snores. She yells out vagina all night. They all have different things.
Who doesn't?
You do that? Who doesn't? Yeah. But anyhow, I understand it, but still it was weird.
But it was, I noticed that as well.
Yeah.
But again, that might have just been a timing 1, 2, 3, because it was Paul, Julie, Cheryl. I don't know.
By the way,
not really necessary.
No, by the way, we could do, yes, that was a little bit, because when we do those set moments, I find them completely false. Mm-hmm. The boom, boom. Yeah. Every moment, this is just my thing, should be a surprise. You go back to Duck Soup with the Marx brothers, and both brothers in the same exact pajamas, and Harpo's and Harpo's prepared to fuck with Groucho, but Groucho is walking along not knowing what's going to happen. You need sort of there's always got to be, even if it's a light surprise. But those choreographed shits, fuck them.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
So next, Larry is in Victoria's Secret, and he wants to buy a bra. And the woman who played the sales girl, she was terrific.
She
wrote
was
down
on,
her
I think,
name.
that show with...
her name is Lydia Cornell. Lydia Cornell.
Lydia Cornell worked quite often in comedies, and she was on that show where Ted Knight played a cartoonist the Ted Knight Show or whatever it was. She was either his daughter or I think she was his daughter. Anyhow, she worked a ton. And I was really happy to meet her and that she did our show.
And she was terrific in this scene. Absolutely terrific in this scene.
When people not only can improvise, because our casting process, COVID really hurt us because we couldn't be in the room.
Yeah.
Did you ever come to a casting session?
No.
It's really, you come in and you're with Larry, myself, Cheryl was there a lot of times.
Yeah.
So if your scene is with Larry, you're doing it with Larry David, which is also nerve-wracking. But we have failed 4 times when we went with somebody and then they're not going to work, but let's just cut it and we'll recast, which we've done. And, but it's a very thorough process. So she came in and you see the comfort, relax, doing it with Larry. Cheryl, when she auditioned, we talked about this, she was the only one that really had a lovely, I'm not going to take your shit attitude.
Yeah. That
only one.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, she might have even been the last actress to audition. Might have been.
Well,
I remember
it's a difficult thing when you have somebody who's so strong like Larry. You need somebody who's going to be able to be at that level. I mean, you can't just, Well,
you can't be intimidated.
Right.
But that's the thing about acting, performing in general. It's experience. And so it's a comfort level, being natural. And I've grown into putting no spin on my acting. I don't try and make anything funny. I just say it the way. And matter of fact, that's why I fool people all the time. And I have to tell them I'm not being serious, which I feel for them. And they'd go, okay. All right, keep going.
Okay. So Larry goes into Victoria's Secret. He's buying a bride. It's for his housekeeper, not for him. He makes that very clear. Not that there's anything wrong with it if it was for him, which he says.
Yeah, I'm interested in buying a bra. It's not for me. No, it's not for me.
For your sweetheart or your wife, girlfriend.
Actually, my housekeeper.
How?
Yeah.
Housekeeper. Okay.
I'm not making it up. It's really not for me.
Fine. Okay. No, it's not. Of course, it's not for you.
Tell me you believe me. It's
I
important
believe
to me.
you. Of course not.
Okay. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
No, because I know.
No, but there is something wrong with it. What am I saying? Not that there's anything. There's a lot wrong with it.
You can't say that in this day and age.
I like to walk around with underwear on my head. Is there anything wrong with that? Is there something wrong with that? Yeah, there's something wrong with that.
Very funny.
All right,
so you really do need a bra then?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
for a
something
woman.
comfortable.
Okay.
She hasn't worn one in 15 years. I need something comfortable.
Not a French maid outfit?
No, it's not a lacy French maid
we have
outfit.
lots of those.
And he wants something comfortable and soft. And she shows him,
But wait, she's assuming that he's buying it for herself. And even when he said the underwear line, which is
which we're coming up. And that it's so soft. And he said, maybe they should make underwear out of this stuff for men. And she says, you see, that's what I'm talking about. Feel free to try anything on.
I know, yeah.
It doesn't, he's like, it doesn't make me a pervert that I thought, whatever. They go back and forth and she's just terrific. And I remember that scene because I remember how good she was. And the scene was actually quite short. And I remember it somehow being longer, but it was a very short but very effective scene.
Sometimes we cut it down. But you know what I realized also watching this episode? I'm actually not a curmudgeon, but in terms of exchanging looks and what I say and explaining things, I'm more like Larry off screen in terms of I talk to everybody and I'm curious about what they're wearing. The only time one person, I went into a movie theater and there's a guy behind the counter, he has a man bun, which I've always found interesting unless you live in Europe. Americans, it doesn't work. Anyhow, I said to him, are you wearing the man bun because you like it or because you don't want your hair in the food? And he matter-of-factly, with a touch of anger, said, I prefer not, and I didn't get what he was saying, I prefer not to be identified by my hair. And I go, yeah, but the man bun, I'm asking you, and I didn't get the identification thing. He, at a certain point, and I was being kind the whole time of I'm not curious, and I wouldn't put it away. That's why I'm saying it's the Larry thing. But what? And I'd ask him those questions and explain. And by the way, one of the other times I got a rejection was the woman who takes tickets in the same theater, maybe 2 years later. I don't want to be. And then I'm like, okay, I'm very sorry. I will not ask. And he was very upset, like furious. And later on, I walked up to him and I said, I just want to let you know I meant nothing. I apologize. It was just curiosity. Because also, I said to somebody, he doesn't want to be identified by his hair. What does that fucking mean? They go, no, you're saying man bun. And he may not look at himself as a man.
I see. But you know what kills me, though? When people do things to draw attention to themselves.
I know.
And then don't want you know what I'm saying?
No, I know. But by the way, someone who embraces whatever they are in such a way that's colorful, I dig that, man. That guy, people like that make the world a better place when they really embrace who they are.
Well,
and they're
you know
just
what?
like,
Fashion, it really should be fun. Fashion is an expression. And then Larry brings Maria a very large selection of bras, and he's very proud of himself because he thinks he nailed the size.
No. He bought different sizes.
Yes, but he says he thinks he nailed the size.
And the first one, he pulls it out.
He's very proud of himself. And she tries it on, and she looks great.
And she's so happy. Yeah, she's so happy.
Comfortable.
Yes.
And then he comes upstairs and comes into his bedroom, and Cheryl and I are waiting for him. I just say to him, you're a sick fuck. And I show him the video because I tell him that we have cameras in the laundry room because think the housekeeper is stealing. So we put the nanny cams around.
Which, by the way, I wouldn't even think that was going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
No,
I didn't see this at all.
Exactly. And we see the video of Larry mincing around, trying on the bra. And he says, well, he wanted to see what it felt like washing dishes. I said, is that how your maid washes dishes? Is that,
No, but he also said other things, moving around, going around the house, cleaning stuff. I wanted to feel
how it was.
Your impression of that, doing is that how, you didn't just say it. You went, is that how she does the dishes? Which, I mean, that was great.
And staring at everyone's breasts. And Cheryl's like, why are you buying her a bra?
I love the scenes where you and Cheryl really team up.
Yeah,
and we have
too.
no idea what to say.
And I tell him, keep your goddamn hands off my brassiere. And Cheryl tells me she caught him looking at her bra. And, it's just a sick fuck with a fetish of bras. And then I tell Cheryl about him waking up Sammy. And then Cheryl says to him, where have you been? And he says, bra shopping. And then he walks out.
Oh, by the way, hold on a second, though. He gets into an argument again with you about the tooth. He yells at you.
About the tooth fairy. Yeah, that she's too old.
But I want to say, this scene, all the things you're saying and doing, there's no, maybe it's written, Susie is upset with Larry. But you're making all this shit up.
Well, we all do.
No, but it's like, I watch this scene and I go, I wonder if people know that this is all improvised from a very... Well, it used to be back then. It was a very short outline,
But same with your scenes, like that hilarious scene earlier where you're guessing Cheryl's bra size.
We had no idea we were going to do that.
Of course,
and that just happens. And we do it 2 or 3 times because we're pretty happy with the first one. But that is so much fun. That's what's fun about the show.
Oh, I see here where I see now on my notes. Okay. So. Then Paul is asleep on the sofa because we've already established Larry woke him up with the orthotics the night before, so we didn't get a good night's sleep. And Larry sees the mezuzah on the table. And Maria comes in, and that's when she's showing off how comfortable she is and how good she feels. And that's when he asks her, where is Jesus? How come he didn't put up the mezuzah? And she says, Jesus was upset that Larry was talking to Maria about her breasts. He said, Mr. David can go fuck himself.
Right. Okay, good.
Right. That's where that was. And then we see Nat, Larry's father, pulling up, and Larry starts to freak out. Where's a hammer? Where's a nail? He's got to put up the mezuzah so Nat doesn't get upset. Because that is the kind of thing that Nat would get upset about.
Oh, by the way.
Yes.
What's amazing about Shelley's performance all through the show, which kind of, you notice just how subtle he was.
Yes.
And quiet and subtle. And then in character, he would make that he was happy, sad, don't do this. And this is not the old person. There are some, okay.
No, that's next.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's looking for a hammer. She tells him where the hammer is. Where's a nail? He doesn't have a nail. And he sees Paul asleep on the couch with that fakakta nail around his neck.
What about a nail? Where's the nail?
I don't know where he keeps the nails.
And he tries to take it off him, which is a whole big, can't get it over his head.
But by the way, I didn't buy that. The nose, all of it.
That he wouldn't have woken up. Yeah.
No, I buy that he's not waking up. That's all good. But the joke is still funny if he just pulls it off his head. That's not what we're doing. It's about the nail. It's not about but that's, again, sometimes I'm not listened to.
I know where you're going.
I know in the back of my head, but I was not going there. Trust me.
And Paul wakes up and it's blasphemy and he's upset. And Cheryl and I come down the stairs and it's pandemonium. We're all shouting and screaming. And Larry is putting up the mezuzah with the Passion of the Christ nail. And Nat walks in. He's like, kiddo. And he kisses the mezuzah and happy.
It was so light and natural.
Yeah.
He touched it. He was warmed by it. And I thought that was beautiful.
Jeff, do you touch it first and then kiss, or do you kiss and then touch it?
By the way, that's, I don't know. Well, yeah.
Somebody will write
By the way, can I be honest with you? Don't even want to Google it.
Okay.
Except anyone who I see kissing their hand first and then touch. I believe it's a kiss and touch. Yeah, that's what I believe it is. But if they do a touch and kiss, I'm good with both because you're showing respect.
If you hear snoring in the background, that's my dog right over here is asleep and snoring very loudly. Okay. I can hear it.
So I felt that you were going to say, if you hear snoring in the background, my dog is bored of you, Jeff.
No.
So he's sleeping next to me. Okay.
No, he
That's where I thought you were going. Give me an okay.
Okay. Next, we're in Larry's office, and you're there, and you're both eating chicken salad sandwiches, and it's the best chicken salad ever that you've ever had. And
what was the moment where we both are laughing really hard? Do you remember what it was about the chicken salad or whatever? Because that scene, I'm on the couch, he's behind the desk.
Yes, it comes up. And he tells you that she's very happy about the bra and that he nailed the bra size. He's very, proud of himself. And you tell him he should get a job at a carnival somewhere to guess the bra size.
And we don't know it's going to work. Holy shit. Yeah. And then he started doing what he would do as a carnival barker who collects. I mean, and by the way, when you see Larry and I laughing on screen, or we're laughing at Susie or whatever it is, those are 100% genuine laughs.
Yes.
Like we are laughing hard at how absurd it is and how funny it is. And those are real laughs.
And he tells you that Jesus freaked out about the bra and quit and told him to go fuck himself. And then you asked, did he replace the nail? And he says, yeah, he ordered a new one. And then he bites down in the chicken salad sandwich, and his tooth fell out because there was a bone in the chicken salad. And then we hear squeaking.
But it's a good pace, by the way.
Yeah, it's like a real horror movie kind of.
The way we did the sound effects on the show for the shoes was perfect.
Yeah, I agree. And Larry says, it's Jesus. He looks out the window. He sees it's Jesus. And we see Jesus coming, Lobo. And he picks up a sign that, some kind of, I don't know, for sale sign or whatever. And he rips the sign off, and it's a cross. It's two pieces of wood.
To
and
hold
a
it up, it was a cross. And he's holding it, which
and he comes there and he starts to come after Larry.
What happened? He just fell. Fell?
And we hear that I forgot what the music is called, but it's this religious music playing. And he's coming after Larry, and Larry's running. And all of a sudden, Jesus falls in pain. He stepped on the nail that Larry dropped, the Passion of Christ nail, and it's in his foot, and you guys pull it out.
No, wait. We do something that bothered me, which was
dragging him?
No, but that's after. We start discussing about the nail, blah, 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 and the guy's on the floor reeling.
In pain. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I just thought, are Larry and I that ignorant, that cruel, our characters? And I really thought, no. we would have a beat.
Pull it out first.
But we're having a fucking conversation. All right, keep going.
So then you pull the nail out, and it's like, oh, yeah. And they lift Jesus and they drag him.
No. Wait. They pull the nail out and they look at it like it's a miracle.
Right.
And someone decided in post to add a glow to the nail on top.
Yeah.
Fucking hated it.
Yeah, I didn't like
Made
that
me
either.
nuts. That's not the theme of the show.
It was not necessary.
Oh my God. The biggest bowl of not necessary. So, and then when I did it with him and he looked at it, I never imagined in post that would be. And again, I fought that one. All right, keep going.
And then we cut to Larry is sleeping peacefully in bed. And he wakes up and is like fumbling with the pillows. And he sees there's $5 underneath his pillow that the tooth fairy apparently left him for his tooth that fell out. And he turns to Cheryl and he's like, very funny. And clearly Cheryl has no idea what he's talking about.
No, I think she clearly put it there. There's no magic.
I don't think so.
So you think an actual tooth fairy put it under his... Oh, all right, whatever. Maybe you came by in your bra and put it underneath. Ah, jeez.
And that's the end of the episode.
By the way, even though...
It was a great button, I think.
No, but it was a great button, but also Cheryl played it perfectly and Larry's reaction was perfect. Yeah. That being said, when she did it, I knew that she put it under his pillow.
See, I didn't think so. I thought it was just one of those...
magic realism bullshit stuff. Okay.
Yes.
Which I've enjoyed in movies. There's been movies, look at Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
I love that movie, but I don't know. All right, but it's a great button. I agree.
And that's the great button of the episode, and that's it. That is the Christ Nail, Season 5, Episode 3, and we'll be back next week.
With Episode 4. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it, and I'm assuming Susie does too.
I do. Hi, Jeff.
There you go. Thanks.
Okay.